Get ready, love, because what's unfolding in the sky right now is nothing short of sacred. We're standing at the edge of a cosmic threshold, and the energy rippling through the heavens carries the unmistakable tone of endings that are deeply karmic, and beginnings that are divinely orchestrated. Venus, the radiant planet that holds the codes of love, beauty, connection, and soul-level worth, is entering Revati Nakshatra, the final and most spiritually attuned lunar mansion in Vedic astrology. But this isn't just another transit to track or another astrological update to observe from the sidelines. This is a passage, a soul-level invitation, a spiritual release, a holy goodbye to what once was, and a tender, sacred hello to what is now waiting to emerge through you. What's unfolding now is not just celestial, it's deeply personal. It's as if the universe is extending its hand, guiding you across a bridge made of stardust and surrender. And you, dear soul, are being asked to walk across it with courage, softness, and the willingness to let go of what no longer fits your higher timeline. Revati is not just a nakshatra, it's a spiritual bridge between the physical and the divine. It's where the soul sheds its burdens, its illusions, its worldly attachments, and begins to remember its origin. It's the final chapter before a new incarnation, the closing note of an old love song that echoes gently into silence, making way for a new melody to rise. When Venus enters this mystical, watery realm, we're not just talking about love or beauty in the typical sense. We're talking about soul-deep transitions in how we relate, how we value ourselves, and how we hold space for the sacred within our hearts. Everything you thought you loved, wanted, or needed, everything you chased or cherished, may begin to lose its form. It might feel like your heart is dissolving into something formless, unfamiliar, and wide open, and that can feel unsettling. But here's the truth. You are not losing anything essential. You are simply outgrowing what was built from old patterns, from outdated narratives, from attachments that were never truly aligned with who you are becoming. This is not a time of destruction, but of gentle unraveling, a cosmic softening, a divine pruning of all that no longer serves. And while it may feel like the ground is shifting beneath your feet, what's really happening is that your soul is taking the lead. Your higher self is guiding you toward connections, desires, and expressions of love that are rooted in truth, not illusion. This transition is governed by Pushan, the celestial shepherd, a divine protector and guide who ensures the safe passage of the soul. Imagine being lovingly escorted by a presence who sees the whole path, even when you can't. Pushan is the energy that nourishes, protects, and gently steers the soul across the threshold from one life chapter to the next. And now, as Venus moves through this sacred space, it's as if your heart is being held by invisible hands, cradled through a metamorphosis that might not make sense to your logical mind, but is profoundly aligned with your soul's evolution. You may start to notice your inner compass changing direction. What once brought you joy or comfort might now feel like it no longer resonates. Things that used to stir desire or excitement could suddenly feel shallow or even meaningless. And at the same time, parts of yourself that felt confusing, neglected, or mysterious may begin to awaken and speak to you in quiet but undeniable ways. This is your soul whispering. This is your heart being rewired. This moment isn't calling for indulgence, for distraction, or for reaching outward. It's asking you to turn inward, to soften, to listen, to let go of what has run its course not with bitterness, but with grace. Venus in Revati is a cleansing, an emotional detox, a purifying tide that gently removes the residue of old karmic entanglements and relationships that no longer reflect your true essence. Not through drama or heartbreak, but through divine understanding, through clarity that feels like peace, through release that feels like coming home. You're not just moving forward, you're rising. Emotionally, spiritually, energetically, you are ascending into a version of yourself that is less defined by what you've been taught and more aligned with what your soul remembers. You are becoming more whole, more clear, more free. The illusions around what love should look like, what beauty means, what worth is measured by, they are dissolving. And in their place, a new kind of love is emerging. One that isn't transactional, one that doesn't cling or grasp or fear, one that is rooted in the divine. This isn't about romantic fairy tales or picture-perfect fantasies. This is about truth, about coming home to the sacred pulse of your being. It's about remembering who you are underneath all the stories, the roles, the masks, and the expectations you've carried. It's about stripping away the noise until you hear the voice of your soul again, clear, quiet, and steady. That voice is calling you now. It's been waiting for this moment. So take a breath, feel into your heart, and trust that what's falling away is not a punishment, but a purification. That what's rising within you is not random, it's holy. This is the energy of the Divine Mother being awakened in you. This is the part of you that knows how to love with presence, how to let go without fear, how to hold space for your own becoming with deep reverence and compassion. This is your feminine essence, regardless of gender, being reborn. And I want you to stay with me until the end of this message, because I'll be sharing 3 powerful spiritual insights that you won't find anywhere else. Guidance that has the potential to shift your entire perspective and help you walk through this Venusian portal with grace and soul alignment. These aren't just astrological tips. They are transmissions, and they are meant for you. Before we go deeper, I invite you to take a moment to breathe, to anchor in, and if you feel called, like this video, subscribe to the channel and drop the number 777 in the comments. That number is not just a symbol, it's a spiritual signature. A sign from your guides that you are on the right path, aligned, and exactly where you need to be. And if this message resonates, please share it with someone you love. You never know whose soul might be waiting to hear these words, or whose healing could begin with a single reminder of the truth. Now let's journey even deeper. On May 16th, Venus officially enters Revati Nakshatra, and this movement is far from ordinary. This is the final degree of the zodiac, the cosmic endpoint, the place where all energies dissolve into oneness before the wheel turns again. It is the womb of surrender, the sea of completion. Revati doesn't just symbolize the end of a cycle, it is the completion. And with Venus here, what's being completed is deeply emotional, deeply relational, and deeply tied to your heart's past wounds and soul contracts. Venus rules all things related to connection, our bonds, our desires, our creativity, our capacity to give and receive love. But when Venus passes through Revati, all those things are stripped of their ego-driven patterns. This isn't the love that's about having or keeping or proving. This is the love that knows how to let go, how to bless what was, even if it didn't last, how to see the divine purpose in even the most difficult heartbreaks. This is the love that heals by dissolving, not fixing. As this energy flows through your life, you may find that the things you once clung to no longer feel vital. You might feel a quiet detachment emerging, an unexplainable peace where there used to be chaos. You may look at a past relationship, or a version of yourself, and instead of longing or pain, feel a sense of neutrality. That's the healing. That's the shift. That's your soul reclaiming its energy. And yes, there may be grief. There may be tenderness. You might feel a wave of sadness wash over you for reasons you can't name. But trust that even this is sacred. This sadness is not a sign of regression. It's a sign of release. It's the soft ache of a soul unbinding itself from old timelines, from karmic loops, from unspoken dreams that were never meant to come true. Let the tears come, if they do. Let yourself soften, if that's what's needed. This is a holy undoing, because what comes next is clarity. What rises from this ocean of release is not just a new version of love, it's a new foundation for your entire emotional reality. Venus in Revati is preparing you to love differently, to value yourself differently, to create from a space that is rooted in soul, not scarcity. You are being called to remember that you are not your past relationships. You are not your heartbreaks. You are not the one who was too much or not enough. You are not the roles you've played to be loved. You are love itself. You are the presence that remains when everything else fades. You are the soul behind the story. And from this space of sacred remembering, a new beginning becomes possible. Not one born from urgency or longing, but one born from stillness, from peace, from divine timing. So as Venus moves through Revati, let yourself be still. Let yourself be guided. Let yourself trust that everything unfolding now is part of your higher becoming. You are not alone in this passage. You are being held by your guides, by the Divine Mother, by the wisdom within your own soul. There is nothing to fix, nothing to force, just an invitation to surrender, to listen, to let the tide carry you. And if you've made it this far, know that these words were meant for you. This moment is sacred, and you are exactly where you need to be. You're not being asked to fight for love right now. You're not being called to prove yourself worthy of affection or to chase after validation. Instead, you're being asked to surrender, to soften into the essence of love itself. Not the fleeting, conditional kind of love that depends on how you perform, how you look, or how much you give. No. This is the kind of love that heals, the kind that awakens, the kind that brings you back home to yourself. Right now, the universe is guiding you through a deeply sacred passage. And during this passage, you might feel old memories coming to the surface. You may find yourself dreaming of people you thought you had long forgotten. There may be echoes from past relationships, conversations that never reached closure, words that were never spoken, tears that were never shed. Emotions like jealousy, longing, shame, or regret might rise unexpectedly, catching you off guard in moments when you thought you had moved on. But this is not regression. This is not backtracking. This is the soul's way of healing. These are energetic residues, emotional imprints stored deep within your heart that are finally rising into the light because you're strong enough now to let them go. This process is not punishment. It's preparation. It's the way your soul makes space for the next evolution of love, for the next chapter of emotional truth that's more aligned, more free, and more real than anything you've ever experienced. The energy of Revati is not just about endings. It's about the sacred transition that comes just before a new beginning. It holds the energy of the threshold, the final breath before rebirth. And as Venus moves through this space, she doesn't just pass by as a planet in transit. She arrives like a divine guide, carrying the wisdom of your heart's past and the promise of its future. She invites you into a gentle but powerful release, asking you to put down what's heavy so you can rise into what's light. You might notice yourself becoming more emotionally open than you've been in a long time. Music might move you to tears, even if you don't fully understand why. A familiar scent, an old photograph, or a quiet moment in nature might stir something ancient within you, something tender and soft. These are not coincidences. They are signals from your soul, letting you know that healing is in progress. These moments are sacred reminders that your emotional system is being rebalanced, retuned, and elevated to a frequency that aligns with unconditional love, inner peace, and deep soul connection. Even silence might begin to feel different, more sacred, more alive. You may begin to hear things in that silence that you've never heard before. Your intuition may start to speak louder. Your dreams might offer you messages that resonate in your heart more than your mind. The transformation that's underway is not loud or chaotic. It's not the kind of change that shakes the ground beneath you. It's gentle, subtle, sacred, and deeply meaningful. You're being guided into the realm of 5D love, a space where love doesn't have to be earned, chased, or held onto tightly. It simply is. It flows freely. It supports and heals. It reflects your truth and honors your soul. This new kind of love doesn't ask you to abandon yourself for someone else. It invites you to meet yourself first, to hold yourself gently, and to open your heart without fear of loss. It asks you to recognize that love isn't something outside of you. It's something you are. The Venus Revati transit is a spiritual cleansing, a soul-level purification. And while it may not be loud or dramatic, it's no less powerful. You are being emotionally detoxed, not just from recent heartaches or past relationships, but from lifetimes of patterns, wounds, and stories that have shaped your relationship with love. Stories of abandonment, of unworthiness, of being too much or not enough. All of these are rising not to haunt you, but to finally be released. This healing might not come with clear explanations. You might not always be able to trace each tear to a memory or every emotional wave to a cause. That's okay. Healing is not always linear. Sometimes it speaks in whispers, in sensations, in sudden bursts of clarity or softness. Sometimes it asks you to feel without needing to understand, to trust without needing proof. In the days surrounding this transit, you might find yourself experiencing a strange mix of vulnerability and strength. You may cry more easily, but you'll also feel more resilient. You might feel moments of deep solitude, but instead of loneliness, there will be a sense of peaceful presence. You may find yourself naturally letting go of things, habits, relationships, or expectations that once felt necessary. This is Venus doing her sacred work within you. This is the soul's way of closing one chapter and preparing to open another. And as this emotional rebirth unfolds, you are being invited to remember who you truly are beneath all the emotional weight you've been carrying. You're being invited to meet the version of yourself that is untouched by pain, unchanged by rejection, and unbroken by loss. The version of you that is whole, radiant, and rooted in divine love. There is no need to rush this process. There's no need to fix anything. All you are being asked to do is stay present, stay soft. Let the waves of feeling come and go. Let the memories arise and pass. Let the emotional tides carry you back to your center, back to the place where love was never lost, only waiting to be remembered. Venus in Revati isn't here to teach you how to love someone else better. She's here to teach you how to return to yourself, how to make peace with your heart, how to release the stories that tell you you're unworthy of love and step into a reality where love is not something you earn, but something you embody. This moment is a gift. It's a chance to close out karmic loops, to dissolve outdated beliefs, and to realign with the love your soul has always known. It's an opportunity to rewrite the emotional narrative you've been living by, to stop measuring your worth through the eyes of others, and instead see yourself through the eyes of the divine. So as Venus walks through this final gateway, let her lead you into stillness. Let her unravel what no longer serves you. Let her remind you of what love really is. Not a battlefield, but a sanctuary. Not a possession, but a presence. Not a performance, but a truth. Trust this process. Even if you can't yet see the full picture, know that something beautiful is unfolding beneath the surface. You are being reborn, not as someone new, but as someone whole. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself receive it. And most of all, let yourself be it. The new cycle is coming. And with it, a new frequency of love. One that doesn't leave you behind or demand your suffering. One that invites your full presence, your full heart, and your full truth. You are ready. Your soul has been waiting for this. Welcome home. During this time, a quiet but unmistakable stirring may be rising within you. One that whispers of lives once lived, of love once felt, and of memories that don't belong to this lifetime yet feel deeply familiar. This is not your imagination playing tricks on you. These echoes from past lives, especially those connected to soulmates, karmic lovers, or spiritual unions, are surfacing with purpose. You might suddenly feel a strange distance from someone who once felt close, or just as suddenly, someone new may step into your life with a sense of instant recognition, as if your souls had agreed to meet again, right here, right now. These shifts aren't mere coincidence. This is Venus at work, gently rearranging the sacred soul contracts you made long before this incarnation began. And in order for these divine updates to settle in and root deeply, something old must be released. Space must be made. The energy has to be cleared. And in the process, your entire being, soul, body, heart, and mind, is drawn into this quiet but powerful transformation. As Venus journeys through the soft, oceanic energy of Revati, her movement activates not only your emotional body, but your physical and mental realms as well. The body, attuned to subtle energies more than we often realize, begins to respond. You may find yourself needing more rest, craving longer moments of stillness, or suddenly overwhelmed by a deep fatigue that has no logical explanation. These aren't signs of weakness or laziness. They are your body's sacred way of aligning with the divine recalibration that is underway. Dizziness, moments of disorientation, or an inner call to be still. These are signals that your nervous system is unwinding. Your energetic field is softening, and your heart is preparing to open more fully. The heart, which has carried the weight of expectations, heartbreaks, hopes, and longings, is beginning to surrender, not through force or willpower, but through a sacred softness, through grace. And as the body opens, so too does your inner awareness. You might find your intuition becoming louder, your inner voice clearer. Everyday sounds might begin to feel more intense, and silence may call to you with a kind of magnetic comfort. You might crave solitude more than usual, or feel hypersensitive to environments that once felt fine. These are all signs that an emotional cleanse is in progress, a deep inner purification that's making room for higher frequencies of love, clarity, and truth. But even in the midst of this soulful blooming, your mind may try to hold on. It may resist. It may demand explanations, seek understanding, or attempt to steer the process in familiar directions. This is where your deeper surrender is called forth. Because this transformation isn't something the mind can map or manage. This doorway, sacred and subtle, is one that only the soul can walk through fully. And to walk through it, you must be willing to let go, not just of what you know, but of the need to know. This is where trust becomes your anchor. This is where faith becomes your compass. Not blind faith in something outside of you, but sacred trust in the flow within you. A trust that even when you don't know exactly where the current is taking you, there is a greater force guiding you safely. Revati, the nakshatra Venus now swims through, is ruled by Pushan, the cosmic shepherd, the soul guide who ensures no one is lost on their journey. So even when things feel uncertain, even when parts of your identity blur or fall away, even when familiar structures begin to dissolve, know this: you are not drifting. You are being led back to your center, back to the part of you that is untouched by external chaos. The part of you that knows peace as its natural state, that sees the divine in all things, especially in yourself. This return to your center is not a retreat. It is an initiation into emotional sovereignty, into the kind of love that doesn't beg or chase or shapeshift to be accepted. In this sacred inner space, Venus becomes more than a planet or a symbol. She becomes your soul guide, your mirror, your reminder. She's not here to teach you how to become strong, because you've always been strong. What she reveals is that your true strength has simply been buried under layers of emotional suppression, societal conditioning, and inherited beliefs about what it means to be lovable, desirable, or worthy. These layers are now being peeled away, not all at once, but gently, organically, in rhythm with your readiness to rise. And rise you will, not with armor or resistance, but with grace. Not with noise or drama, but with clarity. A soft inner shift begins to take root. A new kind of strength begins to blossom, one that doesn't come from grasping or fixing, but from allowing. One that doesn't come from perfection, but from presence. You may notice yourself becoming more accepting of uncertainty, more at ease in moments of not knowing, more attuned to the quiet wisdom that has always lived inside you. That's the real gift of Venus in Revati. Not transformation through struggle, but through remembrance. She doesn't ask you to become someone new. She invites you to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. And as you remember, as you soften, as you surrender, your healing begins to ripple outward. Because this isn't just your personal transformation. It's part of something far greater. Every time you turn inward, every time you choose love over fear, stillness over chaos, authenticity over pretense, you contribute to the healing of the collective field. Like drops falling into a vast ocean, your emotional clarity merges with the energies of others doing the same. A quiet revolution is taking place. A spiritual maturity is being birthed. The divine feminine is rebalancing, not in opposition to the masculine, but in union. And every inner shift you make adds momentum to this global awakening. So no, you are not doing this alone. Your quiet moments of reflection, your willingness to sit with discomfort instead of running from it, your ability to soften when the world tells you to harden, these things matter. They are part of the medicine this world so desperately needs. They open doors for others to follow. They create energetic blueprints for a new way of being, a way rooted in love, in truth, in presence. This is how Venus in Revati works. Not through force, but through invitation. Not through grand gestures, but through quiet, steady alignment. One heart at a time, one breath at a time, one soul remembering at a time. And as this transformation unfolds, something sacred is dissolving. The version of you that was shaped by fear, rejection, heartbreak, or the need to please. The self that sought validation, that carried the weight of abandonment, that learned to dim its light just to belong. That version is gently unraveling, not in shame, but in grace, because it's no longer needed. That old self, while once necessary for survival, is not required for your expansion. You are outgrowing it now. And in its place, a new template of love is being built. Not love that feeds on dependency or fantasy, not love that clings or compromises truth, but love that aligns with your essence, love that liberates, love that feels like coming home. This is the deeper essence of Venus, wholeness, harmony, and beauty that radiates from within. And as you shed what no longer serves, you begin to embody this essence more fully. You begin to see yourself not through the lens of your wounds, but through the light of your truth. You begin to love without needing to possess. You begin to connect without losing yourself. And perhaps most importantly, you begin to recognize that you are already whole. That love is not something you chase or earn, it's something you are. Let yourself rise into this new chapter, not with pressure to have it all figured out, but with reverence for the mystery that's guiding you. Let yourself feel deeply and fully, without needing to name every emotion. Let yourself trust the tides, even when they move you in unfamiliar directions. Because the truth is, you're not drifting. You're returning to your power, your softness, your center. And as you do, you're helping the world remember how to do the same. But the journey isn't always smooth. This transformation may bring old fears back to the surface. The fear of being left, feelings of not being enough, the sting of betrayal. All of it may return, not to hurt you again, but so that you can finally face it, feel it, and let it go. These shadows aren't wrong or shameful. They're just parts of your story that have waited long enough to be seen and honored. And now, your soul is ready to move forward. As Venus moves through the sacred energy of Revati, the lessons of love deepen even more. This isn't just about learning how to receive love. It's about becoming love itself. It's about remembering that love isn't something you go out and find. It's something you awaken within. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." That's exactly what this transit is doing. Bringing old emotional imprints up from your subconscious so they no longer control you. Not to keep you stuck, but to set you free. This is how you reclaim your emotional sovereignty. Not by trying to control love, but by truly understanding it. By healing its roots. By burning through illusions, by becoming whole. And in that wholeness, you begin to feel what it's like to live in the higher vibration of Venus, often called the 5D frequency. Here, relationships aren't cages, they're mirrors. They don't bind you, they reflect you. Love flows without fear. Your heart becomes a sacred bridge between your inner world and the universe around you. As Venus travels deeper into Revati, your dreams may begin to shift. You might notice more vivid dreams, unexpected symbols, or familiar faces from the past showing up in surreal ways. These are not coincidences. Revati is ruled by Mercury and the god Pushan, the divine guide of souls. And under this influence, a gateway opens between your conscious mind and your soul's deeper memory. During this time, your subconscious becomes louder. Emotions you once brushed aside start to speak again, not through logic, but through symbols, archetypes, and stories woven into your dreams. If you've been feeling emotionally lost, unsure of your direction, or weighed down by unhealed grief, this is when your soul begins to show you the way back, through images, feelings, and inner whispers that may not make sense right away, but carry deep truths. Your heart is also being affected during this phase. The heart chakra, your energetic center of love, compassion, and forgiveness, is undergoing a gentle recalibration. You might feel waves of emotion out of nowhere, sudden tears, or a heavy tenderness in your chest. It might feel like sadness, but it's really a softening. Your heart is preparing to open again. Venus in Revati helps you move toward true intimacy. But first, the walls around your heart must begin to fall away. This might be the moment you finally forgive yourself for staying too long in a place that hurt you, for giving too much of yourself, or for simply not knowing what you didn't know. The pain that's been buried in your chest is rising now, not to overwhelm you, but to free you. Your heart has carried enough. It's time to let it breathe again. Revati holds the energy of completion and return. It's the final nakshatra, the last chapter before the zodiac resets. So when Venus enters this space, it signals the end of a karmic cycle in your heart. You are closing a love story, but more than that, you're closing a chapter with an old version of yourself. And as you let go, a new energy begins to awaken. The energy of divine union. This isn't always about another person. It's a sacred inner union, a recognition of your soul's wholeness, of your alignment with love in its purest form. Some describe this experience as connecting with a twin flame or sacred counterpart, but at its core, it's about your heart coming home to itself. This is the beauty of the Venus transit through Revati. It brings completion, truth, and transformation. It invites you to release the old, not because it was wrong, but because it has served its purpose. And now, you're ready to write a new story, one rooted in love. Not the kind that needs or fears, but the kind that is. Before you meet the soul who's truly meant for you, something powerful has to happen. You must first become your own divine mirror. That means looking at yourself fully, not just the parts that shine, but also the ones that hide in the shadows. You have to see all of it, accept all of it, and fall in love again with who you truly are. This journey isn't just about waiting for someone to complete you. It's about remembering that you are already whole. And that wholeness attracts the kind of love that doesn't take, but reflects. As this portal opens under the influence of Venus in Revati, you might find that certain things begin to shift in strange and magical ways. You may receive intuitive hits or experience moments of telepathic connection, where you just know something without anyone saying a word. This happens because Mercury, the ruler of Revati, governs not just language, but also the silent forms of communication: energy, intuition, knowing. You might feel someone's presence without them being physically near. You might hear a song that delivers the exact message your heart needed. You might see numbers, symbols, or dreams that seem to be reaching out to you. Trust that. Trust your intuition, because right now, it's not just making things up. It's remembering what your soul already knows. If you're still with me on this path, it means you're ready to receive something deeper. You're ready for the sacred truths that have been passed down through time. Wisdom that didn't come from guesswork or modern invention, but from ancient esoteric teachings, hidden in spiritual texts written by the masters of astrology thousands of years ago. These teachings aren't ordinary advice. They're spiritual principles, keys that unlock transformation, healing, and realignment during this rare and potent Venus in Revati transit. Let yourself release the old heart you've been carrying, the one that was shaped by fear, that clung to what was familiar even when it hurt, that doubted, resisted, and replayed past pain. That old heart cannot come with you into this new frequency of love. Let it die gently. All the pain you've gone through, all the heartbreaks and tears, they weren't pointless. They were purifying you. They were preparing you for this exact moment. Let that journey be complete. Let the heart rest. From that stillness, something new is born. A higher love, one that doesn't reach outward in search, but radiates from deep within. And during this powerful, energetic shift, know that silence will become your greatest ally. The noise of the world will not guide you now. Logic won't offer the answers your soul is searching for. Instead, take a few quiet moments each day, even if it's just 5 minutes, to disconnect. Step away from the outside world and enter the sacred stillness within. In that silence, you'll begin to hear something else. A voice that doesn't shout but whispers. The voice of your higher self, your soul. And from that quiet space, you will start to receive visions, insights, and messages that seem to come from nowhere, but are actually coming from the deepest part of you. There is something magical about this time. The energy of Venus, especially when it moves through Revati, becomes magnetically charged. This is not a time to chase what you want with desperation or longing. It's a time to embody what you seek. You won't attract love or peace or joy simply by wishing for them. You'll attract them by becoming them. If you want love, you must feel love. If you long for peace, you must be peace. What you are on the inside will become what the world reflects back to you. That's the hidden truth. The ancient teaching that wise ones have whispered through the ages. As within, so without. Begin the change inside. Don't wait for external things to fix themselves. Let your inner state lead the way, and the outer world will follow. This Venus transit in Revati is about so much more than surface beauty or romantic connection. It's a soul-level event, a call to return to the purest kind of love, the kind that comes from the cosmos, from spirit, from source. And that love doesn't begin with someone else. It begins with you. It begins inside. Now that you've received these golden teachings, you're no longer walking through this cosmic gateway in the dark. You are walking with eyes open, with awareness and purpose. You're stepping through this portal with intention and reverence. Because Venus in Revati isn't just about love in the usual sense. It's about endings, closures, spiritual completion. Revati is the final nakshatra, the 27th star, the last door. In the wisdom of Vedic astrology, it is known as the star of the shepherd, the one who gently guides souls to their rest, to their rebirth, to their reunion with wholeness. During this time, everything that has been left undone will rise to the surface. Emotional cycles that never found resolution, relationships that still hold pain, lessons that you've tried to avoid. Venus in this part of the sky brings all of it forward, asking you to finally look at it with open eyes and an open heart. Some of these moments may feel soft, like a gentle nudge. Others may feel sharp and sudden, but none of it is random. All of it is orchestrated by your soul, calling you back into alignment with your true path. You might already be feeling the signs, waves of emotion, sudden nostalgia, a restlessness you can't quite name. Maybe you feel the urge to reconnect with someone from your past, or you're drawn back to a dream you thought you left behind. These impulses aren't meaningless. They are messages from your spirit. They're guiding you, asking you to pay attention, asking you to step into your truth. Revati carries the energy of Pisces, the deep, mystical, flowing waters of the unconscious. And when Venus floats through this space, love becomes something transcendent. It's no longer just about physical connection or shared attraction. It becomes divine. It becomes cosmic. It becomes the kind of love that changes everything, because it changes you first. Let this transit be a sacred invitation, a return to your own heart, a shedding of what no longer belongs, and a step forward, clear, honest, awakened, into the kind of love that your soul has always known but maybe forgotten for a while. You're not just moving through astrology right now. You're moving through a moment of divine remembrance, a moment where love comes back home to its origin, within you. This moment isn't just about romantic love. It's about something deeper, universal love, compassion, and the kind of forgiveness that frees your soul. But before that kind of love can flow through you, something within needs to be cleared. You might feel this as an emotional wave rising inside, a return of old wounds surfacing in your dreams, a sudden interest in ancient music, spiritual writings, or memories you thought were long forgotten. Unexpected waves of joy or sadness may come out of nowhere. You might sense that something is ending, even if everything in your life looks the same on the surface. Don't ignore these feelings or try to run from them. They're not meant to scare you. They're meant to teach you. Revati, the star under which Venus now shines, isn't a place of escape. It's a sacred space for soul release. Venus is acting as a mirror right now, reflecting everything that still lingers unresolved within your emotional body. These energies won't let you look away anymore. They're not here to make you feel good. They're here to help you feel what's true. And the truth can sting before it sets you free. Some of you might be facing heartbreak or goodbyes. Others might meet someone who feels like a soulmate, a twin flame, or a spiritual guide. Someone who shakes your heart awake in the most unexpected ways. Whether you're letting go or beginning anew, this isn't a time to hold back. It's not a time to shrink your heart or pretend you're unaffected. This is your moment to rise, to meet the love that lives inside you and always has. Here's something sacred. Venus in Revati has the power to rewrite your love karma. If you felt stuck in the same emotional patterns, faced the same heartbreaks, or repeated the same lessons over and over, this is your moment of breakthrough. This is the doorway you've been waiting for. But walking through it requires one brave choice. You must decide to stop letting pain be your teacher. You must choose love instead. Say it out loud, not just with your voice, but with your entire being. Let it echo through your heart and ripple through every layer of your soul. I no longer choose pain as my teacher. I now allow love to guide me. Feel the weight of those words. Let them linger. Let them settle. Let them take root. These aren't just affirmations. They are declarations of your sovereignty, a turning point, a conscious choice to walk a new path, one not carved by suffering, but shaped by grace. This is a sacred moment. A portal is opening, and it begins with the vibration of love. As Venus, the planet of love, grace, and divine feminine energy, prepares to leave Revati and cross into Ashwini on May 16th, something subtle yet deeply significant stirs within the cosmic fabric. This is not just an astrological event. This is the heartbeat of a spiritual new year. Revati, the final nakshatra in the zodiac, marks the completion of a cycle. It holds the energy of transcendence, compassion, and closure. When a planet moves through Revati, it's like the final breath before a new birth. And as Venus makes her final pass through these sacred waters, we are asked to reflect, not with judgment, but with tenderness, on all that we are ready to release. Ashwini, on the other hand, is the spark of new beginnings, the first star, the first breath of life in the zodiacal wheel. It is the cosmic cry of a newborn soul, eager and raw, full of vitality and possibility. When Venus enters Ashwini, we are invited into renewal, into rebirth. But we cannot carry old pain into new beginnings and expect the energy to feel fresh. This transition calls for honesty. It asks us to get still, to listen deeply, and to hold ourselves through the unraveling of what no longer fits. These days leading up to May 16th are crucial. They are not meant for rushing, pushing, or pretending. They are sacred days, soft days, designed for emotional integration. You may find yourself more sensitive than usual, more introspective. Memories may surface, tears may flow. You might feel waves of exhaustion or bursts of unexpected clarity. It's all part of the release. You are shedding old skins, not just emotionally, but energetically. And this shedding isn't always graceful. It can be messy, it can be raw, but it is necessary. Let yourself feel it all. Don't rush past your feelings to get to the next thing. Write them down. Speak them aloud. Sit in silence with them. Let the tears come if they need to. Let your body rest. These emotions aren't here to punish you. They're here to free you. Every sensation that arises is a key unlocking something that has been stuck. You are not regressing. You are returning to your truth, to your power, to the version of you that doesn't need pain to grow anymore. Meanwhile, the sun in Bharani is playing an essential supporting role in this transformation. Bharani is ruled by Yama, the god of death and dharma. It carries the energy of necessary endings, of soul contracts reaching completion, of truth rising to the surface whether we're ready or not. The sun shining through Bharani doesn't allow you to hide. It brings light to the shadows. It asks you to face the parts of yourself you've avoided, the pain you've buried, the patterns you've repeated, the masks you've worn to survive. This is not meant to shame you. This is meant to liberate you. When we avoid our shadow, we unconsciously recreate it. We cycle through the same wounds, attract the same relationships, repeat the same inner narratives. But when we face our shadow, when we look it in the eyes with compassion rather than criticism, we reclaim our power. And in doing so, we stop giving pain the final word. Venus in Revati, just before she transitions, offers a deeply healing balm. It's the energy of forgiveness, of soulful grace. Revati reminds us that closure doesn't always come through conversations or apologies from others. Sometimes it comes when we forgive ourselves, when we stop carrying the weight of every heartbreak as if it's our fault. When we realize that healing is not about erasing the past, but about integrating it in a way that empowers our present. The energy moving through right now is spiritual alchemy. This is not just emotional processing. This is energetic transmutation. Pain is not just being released. It's being transformed into wisdom, into resilience, into soul-led clarity. But this kind of transformation only happens when we are willing to stay present. When we resist the urge to numb out, check out, or shut down. When we create space within us for the uncomfortable emotions to rise and pass, like clouds moving through the sky. You are not your sadness. You are not your fear. You are the sky that holds them all. And within that sky is a powerful invitation to turn inward with compassion, to look at your own heart the way you would look at a child who is hurting, to soften, to open, to offer grace not just to those who have hurt you, but to yourself for having carried the weight for so long. This is the moment to forgive the version of you who didn't know better, who did the best they could with what they had, who just wanted to be loved. That version of you deserves love, not judgment. The more you allow yourself to soften into grace, the more you'll discover the strength that lives inside your vulnerability. You'll begin to realize that your softness is not a weakness. It is your superpower. It allows you to feel, to connect, to love more fully. Even if life still feels uncertain, even if everything isn't yet clear, your heart knows the way forward. This is a time to surrender to the rhythm of the universe, to remember that when you let go of control, you create space for miracles. You make room for the kind of beauty that only arrives when the soul is ready. This chapter of your life is not about doing more. It's about feeling more, trusting more, loving more deeply, starting with yourself. Let Venus guide you back to your heart. Let her show you that true love, the kind that heals, the kind that endures, doesn't begin with someone else. It begins within. It begins when you no longer seek completion outside of yourself, when you realize that you are already whole. As Venus prepares to step into Ashwini, she's not just inviting you to start again. She's inviting you to remember who you are at your core. A soul made of stardust, a heart that still believes in beauty, a being worthy of love not because of what you've done, but simply because you are. Let this be a time to repair what's been broken, to reconnect with your inner peace, and to return to the frequency of unconditional love. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing. Willing to feel, willing to forgive, willing to love again. And most importantly, willing to love yourself in ways you never have before. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to write "I choose peace" in the comments. Let that be more than a phrase. Let it be your vow, your soul's declaration, your conscious agreement with the universe that you are ready to let love lead. Thank you for sharing this moment of reflection with me. If these words have touched your heart, please consider sharing them with someone who might be quietly searching for a sign, for healing, or for hope. We are all walking each other home, and sometimes all it takes is one message to remind someone of their light. Until we meet again, take care of your heart. Be gentle with yourself. And trust, truly trust, that you are being guided exactly where you need to go.